What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we are jumping back in with more Destiny updates, news, previews and more. So, in this one, Bungie talk a little bit about Desert Perpetual, the epic raid. They will shortly be announcing the disabled items list that'll be active for over the course of the weekend. Otherwise, they confirm some of the rest of the content rollout for the weekend, including that trials will be active despite the raid launch-in. Plus we'll talk about Tapir error codes, which seem to be affecting a large number of players. Bungie now confirm that certain regions are actually unable to play Destiny 2 right now. We'll explain what we know about that, and we'll speak about Call to Arms, which is a new event we're getting right at the end of this season. Of course, events seem to be a major part of Bungie's sort of content delivery format, or at least that's what they're targeting. This event will come with some very interesting cosmetic components as well as significantly boosted rewards while it's active, and Bungie have also said there'll be stuff that we can earn there, which will actually benefit us in Renegades, some of those coming in the form of vouchers that we'll be able to spend in the next season. So, a few things to round up today, guys. If you enjoy the video, help us out and hit the subscribe button down below. Otherwise though, let's get into it. And firstly, for the quick updates, Bungie do confirm Trials of Osiris returns this Friday, in addition to the Desert Perpetual epic raid. And not only will Trials feature a returning fusion rifle, but this weekend will also feature 3 beloved maps. And I believe they are referencing the Burden of Guilt fusion rifle, which was reprised for this season. That is a status adaptive frame. So it's nice that Trials will be up as well as the raid. Otherwise, of course, Desert Perpetual epic raid opens on September 27th, which is Saturday. And they've additionally added the disabled item list for Desert Perpetual epic raid will be available in tomorrow's TWID, as well as on bungie.net/disables. So we'll be getting that list soon. Typically, it only affects the raid itself now. I remember a couple of years back, it would affect basically the whole game a lot of the time when something was disabled. But we'll get those further bits of clarification in the TWID. Otherwise, if you haven't played Desert Perpetual recently, with the buffs we got this week, it's dropping a lot of higher tier loot. There are chances to get tier 4 and 5 loot randomly, even when you're running lower feat raids, and the power bonuses to gear is significantly improved too, which is definitely good for the raid. It's a shame that it's taken this long. I also acknowledge there are plenty of other parts of the game that also need the same treatment, but Bungie have clearly prioritized this with the epic raid dropping this week. And it's a shame in a way because the contest and the launch for Desert Perpetual actually put a lot of players off, when in reality now, it's a fairly rewarding experience and nowhere near as difficult as it first appeared on that launch weekend. Another thing that will come from the epic raid will be a consumable we can earn called Matter Conversion Circuit. I don't think this is currently available in the raid, but when we collect this consumable, essentially to access attunement for the raid rewards. So that's coming up on the weekend. Other things here though, for many days, I've been seeing players report this in my comment section, folks have been reporting that they've been getting Tapir error codes in particular regions and they're essentially unable to play Destiny 2 whatsoever. Now this is affecting the Commonwealth of Independent States regions, which includes Russia. Going back in time, Bungie themselves did actually stop continued support for Destiny 2 in Russia, but until this last week or so, the game was still able to be played. Bungie didn't make any announcements ahead of this that I'm aware of, but firstly a few days ago they said they were investigating the issue, and then they've since followed up and simply said that Destiny services are not available where access is restricted by law. And that's the only comment they've made about it, so I would take that as confirmation that the game is now completely unsupported in those regions. Obviously, there are lots of legal and technical reasons Bungie will be doing that. I'm not sure what's changed specifically in the last week that's completely killed access to the game, but it affects a large number of people. What I can't understand is why Bungie didn't make any specific announcement about it ahead of time, or even confirm early on when this started happening as to why it was happening. I appreciate the majority of people who are playing Destiny are just normal people, aside from all the stuff going on with the war and the other political elements to it, but that's Bungie's official stance, so you'll have to let us know if you've been affected by it. Worth a mention though, as given the populations of players out there, it is a reasonably significant development. Give me your thoughts below. Next up though, let's speak about Call to Arms. Now, of course, Bungie are focusing a lot on sort of live events, Arms Week, Heavy Metal, Iron Banner, then the seasonal ones like Festival or Solstice. And now there's an additional kind of seasonal component where in the final few weeks of this season, Bungie will release an event called Call to Arms. Now, they've said we'll be working with Devrim K, who'll actually be positioned in the tower as our liaison to the foundries. I'm not sure specifically how the foundries play into this, but the very loose explanation is that we'll be stress testing the latest foundry gear and Bungie said guardians who push their loadouts the hardest will be able to reap the rewards. One of those rewards will be a new ornament. We can see it on screen here. It's the Seraphim Age Mask. As far as I can tell, it will have the same visual effects for all three classes, so whether you're a hunter or a titan, it's basically going to look like the same thing. But the component that makes it interesting is that top earning players during the event will earn a tail of flames, which signify that you're a top competitor. And it comes in the form of this kind of fiery mohawk. We don't get a full preview of it from the image here, but I assume it'll be quite visually ornate. They've also said there'll be a sort of reactive glow component to it. That's just one of the rewards we'll be able to get. There'll also be a new ornament for the exotic pulse rifle from the track. And I believe that ornament is Desert Burnish, as this one's currently not released. We can see, though, the actual 3D in-game preview for it, and it does have some of the kind of call to arms sigils, the shields, and things that we see on other event rewards for this season. Another component, though, is that Bungie have said there'll be daily login rewards as well as vouchers that we can earn, and we'll be able to hold on to those vouchers as they'll set us up for the next season, which goes live alongside Renegades. So there will be a specific gameplay component, or should I say reward, that will actually benefit us in the next season. So Bungie are certainly trying to get folks to come back and play this. And there'll be various login bonuses and reward boosts that we'll be able to get. So Bungie are trying to stir up interest around this. We can see the icon, which is also present on a handful of event weapons this season now, including the submersion crossbow. And Bungie have said we'll be able to focus for and farm the submersion crossbow specifically. So while it's a very rare drop while events are active currently, it'll be far more targetable when this goes live. And they said there'll be various other legendary and cosmetic rewards. I'm kind of assuming that all of the weapons that have that same icon on them, including the updated versions of Ribbontail, the Arms Week weapons, or whatever else it may be, are actually going to be featured as drops for this. So it will be a sort of loot palooza at the end of the season. And they also refer to it specifically as a narrative send-off, so I'm assuming there'll be a story component to this which connects events of Reclaim, Call to Arms, and Renegades together in some form or another. Otherwise, they said we'll be able to attune to a selection of event weapons, including the crossbow, and there'll be that 2-week competition that asks all Guardians to get the highest scores in a selection of 5 activities. And they'll cover how Call to Arms will prepare us for Renegades in a future TWID. But another component of this will be some additional cosmetic things that Devrim K will have in the form of Rally reward redemption, some older shaders, ships, sparrows, and things like the Nightmare Tendency emblem or the Iris Pulsator shell, which are probably a couple of the highlights for a lot of players. So in some respects, I think it's going to be a fairly rewarding event. Obviously, Bungie setting up for Renegades and trying to drum up hype, and also allowing us to farm a bunch of the weapons which currently are either very rare or random drops in other events. So even if you're not playing the game right now, it may well be the case that it's worth jumping back in for this, because on top of the preparation for Renegades, there'll be accelerated progress in terms of the ability to earn various rewards from this season. So we got that on top of Festival of the Lost, where yes, Bungie said there'll be a new 6-player PvE activity. I totally forgot about that. I did cover some festival rewards in a video recently. That will be in the last couple of weeks of October, and I imagine, given that Bungie have said there'll be a 2-week competition for Call to Arms, we're probably only looking at a 2-week gap between Festival and Call to Arms going live. So if Bungie do their sort of loot boosts for Festival as well, whether it's tier or power, or both, preferably, in a weird sort of way, there's almost more of a chance of there being more players in the game in the last couple of weeks of October and November than there are right now. And again, I'd hammer home my feedback to Bungie to just make it all as rewarding as possible, make it desirable, because while you can't fix all of the game's current issues, you definitely can reward players, more so than we're seeing currently, so that's certainly an opportunity. For today though, guys, that's what we have to round up. So as always, I hope you found this video interesting, and if you have, a rating very much helps us out. Let me know your thoughts on the upcoming event, the non-class agnostic helmet ornament thing that we're going to get. And also let us know if you'll jump into that raid this weekend. I'm curious to get your thoughts below. Otherwise, cheers for tuning in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.